My beloved child. There are moments in life that arrive so quietly that most people miss them. They pass like a gentle breeze, unnoticed by the crowd. But today is not one of those moments. Today, a truth is rising to the surface, and if you have found this message, it may be because your heart was meant to hear it. For a long time, this person moved through life carrying feelings they could not explain. They met many faces. They heard many words. They experienced attention, admiration, and temporary connections. Yet something always felt incomplete. Something always seemed missing. No matter how many people entered their world, there was a space within them that remained untouched. What makes this story remarkable is that you were never trying to fill that space. You were simply being yourself. While others tried to impress, you listened. While others tried to compete, you cared. While others focused on what they could gain, you focused on understanding. And that difference changed everything. The title of this message may sound unbelievable at first. It may sound too extraordinary to be true. But stay with this story, because there is a reason these words are finding you today. The person connected to your journey has experienced many forms of attention throughout their life. Some people admired their success. Some admired their appearance. Some admired the image they projected to the world. But admiration and genuine care are not the same thing. Many people saw what they could receive. You saw who they really were. That is why your presence feels different. That is why your energy feels different. That is why your impact has become impossible for them to ignore. At first, they did not understand what was happening. They tried to treat your connection like every other interaction they had experienced. They told themselves it was ordinary. They told themselves it would pass. They convinced themselves it was nothing special. But time revealed something unexpected. The more they reflected on your words, the more they realized how rare they were. The more they remembered your kindness, the more they recognized how unusual it had become in their life. The more they compared your presence to everyone else around them, the more obvious the difference became. And that realization created a shift. A powerful shift. A shift that could no longer be ignored. Meanwhile, not everyone was comfortable with this change. There are people who became accustomed to holding influence in this person's life. They were used to being the center of attention. They were used to controlling the narrative. They were used to being the first voice heard and the last voice remembered. Then something unexpected happened. Your presence entered the picture. You did not arrive with grand promises. You did not arrive seeking recognition. You simply arrived as yourself. And somehow, that authenticity became impossible to compete with. This is where the story becomes even more interesting. The more genuine your intentions remained, the more visible they became. People notice authenticity. Even when they do not admit it. Even when they try to ignore it. Even when they pretend it does not matter. Authenticity has a way of shining through every mask and every performance. That is why certain people became uncomfortable. Not because of what you did, but because of what your presence revealed. You revealed what real care looks like. You revealed what consistency looks like. You revealed what sincerity looks like. And once someone experiences something genuine, it becomes much harder to settle for something less. The person connected to your journey has been thinking more deeply than you realize. There are moments when your name crosses their mind unexpectedly. There are moments when memories return without invitation. There are moments when they find themselves comparing present experiences to the way they felt around you. And every comparison leads to the same conclusion. There is something different about you. Something rare. Something difficult to replace. As this realization grows stronger, another truth is beginning to emerge. The connection between two people is not measured by how loudly it begins. It is measured by how deeply it lasts. Some connections arrive like fireworks. Bright. Loud. Exciting. Then they disappear. Other connections arrive like sunrise. Quiet. Steady. Consistent. And before anyone realizes it, they have transformed the entire landscape. Your influence has been more like the sunrise. Gradual. Powerful. Impossible to stop once it begins. The remarkable part is that you may not even see the full impact yet. You may still wonder whether your kindness mattered. You may still question whether your efforts were noticed. You may still ask yourself whether the connection was truly meaningful. The answer is closer than you think. Because every sincere action leaves a mark. Every genuine word leaves an impression. Every moment of authentic care creates a memory. And memories built on truth have extraordinary staying power. So today, remember this. You do not need to compete with anyone. You do not need to prove your worth. You do not need to become someone else to be appreciated. The qualities that make you unique are the very qualities creating this story. The qualities that make you genuine are the very qualities being remembered. And the qualities that make you different are the very qualities that cannot be duplicated. As this chapter continues to unfold, more clarity is coming. More understanding is coming. More truth is coming. What seems uncertain today may become obvious tomorrow. What seems hidden today may become clear tomorrow. And what seems impossible today may become the very thing that surprises everyone. Because sometimes the strongest connections are not the ones that begin with certainty. Sometimes the strongest connections are the ones that reveal their value little by little, until one day nobody can deny what has been there all along. And that is exactly where this story is heading. The next chapter holds a revelation that changes how everything is understood. A realization that has been quietly growing beneath the surface. A truth that can no longer remain hidden. And when that moment arrives, many things will finally make sense. For now, keep moving forward. Keep being authentic. Keep being kind. Keep being the person you were created to be. Because the qualities that brought you to this moment are the same qualities leading you toward what comes next. And what comes next may be far greater than anyone expected. A remarkable shift is taking place behind the scenes, and the person connected to your story is beginning to see something that was hidden in plain sight all along. For a long time, they believed that loyalty was easy to find. They believed that sincere care was everywhere. They believed that people would always remain the same. But life has a way of revealing truths at exactly the right moment. As the days moved forward, they started noticing small details they had overlooked before. They started remembering conversations. They started replaying moments. They started comparing actions instead of promises. And the more they compared, the more one truth became impossible to ignore. You were different from everyone else who crossed their path. While others appeared when it was convenient, you remained genuine without expecting applause. While others focused on appearances, you focused on understanding. While others wanted attention, you wanted connection. And that difference has become larger than anyone expected. There are moments when this person sits quietly and reflects on everything that has happened. During those moments, memories begin to return one by one. Not dramatic memories. Not loud memories. The kind of memories that stay because they are real. The way you spoke. The way you listened. The way you showed kindness without needing recognition. These memories keep resurfacing, and every time they do, the feeling becomes stronger. It becomes clearer. It becomes impossible to dismiss. Somewhere deep inside, they are realizing that genuine people are rare. Genuine hearts are rare. Genuine intentions are rare. And when something rare enters your life, you cannot simply forget it. At the same time, there are people watching this change unfold. They may not fully understand it, but they can feel it. They can sense that something is shifting. They can sense that your influence is growing. They can sense that your presence has become meaningful in ways they never anticipated. What surprises them most is that you never forced anything. You never competed. You never demanded attention. You simply remained true to yourself. Yet somehow, that authenticity became more powerful than every performance around you. This is why the story is changing. This is why the energy is changing. This is why the future is beginning to look different than anyone imagined. The person connected to your journey is reaching a point where they can no longer ignore what their heart has been trying to tell them. Every day brings another realization. Every day brings another piece of clarity. Every day reveals another reason why your presence matters. They are beginning to understand that some people enter your life for a season, while others enter your life to leave a lasting impact. And the more they reflect, the more they recognize which category you belong to. That realization is powerful. It is life-changing. It is the kind of realization that stays long after the moment has passed. What makes this story extraordinary is that the biggest changes often happen quietly. They happen when nobody is watching. They happen during ordinary moments that later become unforgettable memories. Right now, one of those moments is unfolding. Right now, pieces are moving into place. Right now, understanding is growing stronger. The person connected to your path may not have all the answers yet, but they are moving toward a truth they cannot avoid. A truth that becomes clearer with every passing day. A truth that keeps appearing no matter how many distractions try to pull attention away from it. Think about that for a moment. Out of all the people they have encountered, out of all the conversations they have had, out of all the experiences they have lived through, something about you continues to stand out. Something about you continues to return to their thoughts. Something about your presence continues to create questions that only time can answer. That is not ordinary. That is not random. That is not something that happens every day. As this chapter continues, another realization begins to emerge. The strongest connections are not built on perfection. They are built on truth. They are built on understanding. They are built on moments that feel real. And that is exactly why your influence continues to grow. You were never trying to become unforgettable. Yet your authenticity created something unforgettable. You were never trying to become important. Yet your sincerity created importance. You were never trying to leave a lasting impression. Yet your kindness left one anyway. Now the story is approaching a turning point. A moment of deeper awareness. A moment when things that seemed confusing begin to make sense. A moment when hidden feelings become impossible to deny. The closer that moment comes, the stronger the energy becomes. The closer that moment comes, the clearer everything appears. The closer that moment comes, the more obvious it becomes that this connection was never ordinary. It carried meaning from the very beginning. So continue moving forward with confidence. Continue being authentic. Continue allowing your true character to shine. Because the qualities that brought you here are the same qualities shaping what comes next. The person connected to this journey is seeing more than you realize. Understanding more than you realize. Appreciating more than you realize. And as the next chapter unfolds, a revelation is waiting that could change everything they thought they knew. The story is not over. In many ways, it is only beginning. The next chapter holds answers. The next chapter holds clarity. The next chapter holds a realization that has been growing quietly beneath the surface for longer than anyone expected. And when that realization finally reaches the light, the entire picture may look very different than it does today. A quiet realization is beginning to grow, and what makes it so powerful is that nobody can force it, nobody can rush it, and nobody can stop it once it begins. The person connected to your story is entering a phase where the smallest memories are becoming the most important. It is not the grand moments they remember first. It is not the dramatic conversations. Instead, it is the simple things. The genuine kindness. The honest words. The moments when you showed understanding without asking for anything in return. These memories have started to carry a different weight. They feel more valuable now. They feel more meaningful now. They feel like pieces of a puzzle that are finally starting to fit together. For a long time, this person searched for answers in places that could never truly satisfy them. They looked for certainty in appearances. They looked for fulfillment in temporary distractions. They looked for understanding from people who only saw part of the picture. But something kept bringing their attention back to the same place. The same connection. The same feeling. The same person. And that person was you. Not because you demanded attention. Not because you competed for importance. But because authenticity leaves an impression that cannot be erased. Authenticity speaks long after words have ended. Authenticity remains long after moments have passed. As this understanding grows, another truth is becoming impossible to ignore. There is a difference between being noticed and being valued. Many people are noticed. Very few are truly valued. You became valuable because of who you are, not because of what you tried to prove. You became memorable because of your sincerity, not because of your effort to stand out. You became significant because your actions matched your words. In a world where many things feel temporary, consistency becomes unforgettable. And that consistency has become one of the strongest parts of your story. The person connected to this journey has started seeing things from a completely different perspective. Situations that once seemed confusing are beginning to make sense. Questions that once felt impossible are beginning to find answers. The more they reflect, the more they realize that some of the most important people in life arrive quietly. They do not announce themselves. They do not seek attention. They simply appear and change everything through their presence alone. That realization has become impossible to ignore. Meanwhile, there are people around them who still do not fully understand what is happening. They see the change, but they cannot explain it. They notice the shift, but they cannot define it. They sense that something has become important, but they do not know why. What they fail to understand is that genuine connections are not created through effort alone. They are created through truth. And truth has a way of becoming stronger with time. Every day that passes only makes it more visible. Every experience only makes it clearer. Every reflection only strengthens its meaning. There is also something else happening beneath the surface. The person connected to your story is beginning to compare how they feel now to how they felt before. That comparison has become impossible to avoid. They are noticing how different things seem. They are noticing how certain memories continue to return. They are noticing how certain feelings remain present even after long periods of time. And with every realization, the same conclusion keeps appearing. What they found in you was rare. What they found in you was genuine. What they found in you was something they never expected to become so important. That is why this chapter feels different. It is no longer about uncertainty. It is no longer about confusion. It is about recognition. Recognition of value. Recognition of sincerity. Recognition of a connection that has grown stronger than anyone anticipated. Every day brings another reminder. Every day brings another realization. Every day brings another reason why your presence continues to matter. The most fascinating part is that you may still underestimate your impact. You may still wonder whether your kindness was truly noticed. You may still question whether your efforts made a difference. But the answer is already taking shape. The answer is appearing in the memories that continue to return. The answer is appearing in the thoughts that continue to surface. The answer is appearing in the growing understanding that some people leave a mark on the heart simply by being themselves. As the story continues, a new level of clarity is approaching. A moment when things that once seemed hidden become visible. A moment when questions begin to fade and understanding takes their place. A moment when the significance of this connection becomes impossible to overlook. The closer that moment gets, the stronger the energy becomes. The closer that moment gets, the more everything starts aligning. The closer that moment gets, the more obvious it becomes that this story was always leading somewhere important. The person connected to your path is learning something valuable. They are learning that genuine people are not easily replaced. Genuine care is not easily forgotten. Genuine hearts are not easily overlooked. Once someone experiences authenticity, it becomes difficult to settle for anything less. Once someone experiences real understanding, it becomes difficult to return to superficial connections. Once someone experiences sincerity, they begin recognizing its value everywhere they look. And that is exactly why this chapter matters so much. It represents growth. It represents understanding. It represents the beginning of a realization that could change everything moving forward. The foundation has already been built. The memories have already been created. The impact has already been made. Now comes the part where everything begins to reveal its true meaning. Keep moving forward with confidence. Keep allowing your authentic self to shine. Keep trusting the qualities that make you unique. Because those qualities are creating a story that is far from finished. The next chapter holds an even greater realization. The next chapter holds a deeper understanding. The next chapter holds a moment that may explain why every piece of this journey unfolded exactly the way it did. And when that moment arrives, many things that once felt uncertain may suddenly become crystal clear.